Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on Election First. For the News First team, I'm Martin Satyanesan, starting off with a look at your COVID update for this afternoon. The total amount of COVID-19 patients in the country has risen to 2,617.
Yesterday, 106 COVID-19 patients were identified. 6 individuals from Rajanganaya are among them. The Government Information Department said 76 inmates who were transferred from the Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre Kandy to the Senapura Rehabilitation Centre were also confirmed COVID-19 positive yesterday. Among the confirmed cases yesterday are 2 returnees from Bangladesh and a returnee from the United Arab Emirates who are undergoing quarantine. The remaining are 14 case contacts of the Treatment and Rehabilitation Centre Kandy, 5 returnees from Belarus and 2 seafarers from Iran. Currently, there are 625 active COVID-19 patients receiving treatment. 1 COVID-19 patient was discharged yesterday following recovery, and the total number of recoveries in the country now stands at 1,981. 33 individuals who had contact with people who worked in the Kandy quarantine center were quarantined for 14 days yesterday. The individuals who were quarantined were residents of the Badivava 8 Division, Tamankadua Medical Officer of Health Division, Sangabodhigama and Swagam areas. According to our correspondent, the individuals were from 9 families presiding in the premises of private business. Natigala Gol Hambaradua was subjected to PCR tests. The testing was carried out under the supervision of the Hambaradua medical officers. The individuals who were suspected to have contracted the virus tested negative for COVID-19. The 2 individuals who tested positive were quarantined at the Nugadua Gol Navy camp. Our correspondent reported that the 2 individuals are security guards of vessels belonging to the Navy.
Additional Secretary to the President for Foreign Relations, Admiral Professor Jayanath Kolambage said close to 15,750 Sri Lankans in 75 countries who were stranded due to the COVID-19 pandemic were successfully repatriated to the island.
Since we need to provide special facilities to treat people who are infected with COVID-19, we decided from the 14th onwards for several days to discontinue repatriating Sri Lankans residing abroad.
Postal voting for 2020 general elections commenced today.
Chairman of the National Election Commission stated that public health inspectors, medical officers of health and family health officers and other staff will be able to vote. The NEC stated that due to the prevailing situation, postal voting in the Rajanganaya Divisional Secretariat has been postponed. The chairman further stated that discussions will be held to decide whether to allow members of the Navy working in quarantine centres to vote via the post. Mahinda Deshapriya stated that plans have been made regarding the voters who are unable to engage in postal voting. Medical staff at the Kaduwala office of the medical officer engaged in postal voting today. According to our correspondent, this operation was carried out following proper health guidelines while maintaining social distancing. Staff of the Gampaha office of the medical officer of health also voted via the post today. According to our correspondent, the postal voting happened following proper health guidelines. Staff of the Anuradhapura Gampalat office of the medical officer of health also engaged in postal voting. Meanwhile, PAFREL Executive Director Rohana Hettiarachchi said it is expected to deploy around 1,000 observers to monitor the postal voting process. The 2020 general elections will be held on the 5th of August.
The nursing staff attached to the Kandy National Hospital engaged in a silent protest today.
The protest was staged since the government has not provided the incentives which were agreed during the COVID-19 situation, which was prevalent earlier in the country. All the nursing staff at the Kandy National Hospital engaged in the protest. The nursing staff who engaged in a silent protest inside the premises of the hospital later arrived at the Kandy-Colombo main road and engaged in the protest.
They came in their personal vehicles and did their job, making personal sacrifices. But the government has not even given the lowest benefits possible for the nursing staff. The effects of the first wave of COVID-19 are being felt now. We are worried if the nursing staff will be victimized this time as well. We tell the government that they can't use the grand promotions on the media and get the nursing staff to work without granting them with what they deserve.
Party leaders. Political update.
Following are the views expressed by several party leaders.
A meeting was held under the auspices of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Bakery Junction in Mount Lavinia.
I have noticed many UNP supporters rallying around us. I asked them why they did so. They said the UNP has divided and those two factions are in a struggle to capture Sirikotha. It is not their intention to establish a government. The UNP was divided on many occasions, but this is the most severe decision to date.
A rally attended by the leader of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Sajit Premadasa, was held in Western Colombo.
The people are distressed. Daily lives have been hampered and the economy is hurtling towards a massive downfall. The self-proclaimed heroes claimed to have eradicated the first wave of COVID-19 have failed to stop the resurgence of the second wave. The country is in a mess. Everything is uncertain.
The leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, attended a rally in Narammala.
When I said we received $2,030 million worth of aid from several countries, including the European Union, Pavitra said no. We received $1 million USD. Now they are saying that they received more. I asked what happened to the aid. Had it contracted COVID-19 as well? Where is it being treated? At Kandakadu? Can we visit it?
A rally attended by the leader of the National People's Power, Anurakumar Disanayaka, was held in Banduramulla, Aturugiriya.
The chairman of the National Election Commission convened all interested parties, including the media, and said the election can be held, but only according to certain regulations. However, those regulations weren't converted into law. They were not gazetted. The government wanted to quell the people's fear of COVID-19 so that they could hold the election.
Party leaders. Political update.
Expressed in the political arena leading up to the 2020 general election.
2020.
Even if you send 120 people to this parliament, only 8 have to think to themselves, no, the ministerial portfolios that we received are not enough. We can get a better ministry from the other side too. If such decisions are made, a shift in majority will occur.
The people were apprised of the corrupt politicians since 6 of us were in Parliament. Parliament is not a school or a hospital. They throw chili powder. They throw the speaker's chair around. They run away with the mace. They spill water. That is the kind of a parliament we have. The country has no use from such a parliament.
They posted banners stating COVID-19 has been eradicated. Now COVID-19 has resurfaced and we don't know what will happen next. It is regretful. This needs to be eradicated soon. They are conducting the election because the election is more important to them than the pandemic. We would like to remind you that these are the people who wanted to stage the election over dead bodies of our people.
Many countries around the world have seen the resurgence of COVID-19. If it has happened to Sri Lanka, the government should take measures. We cannot prevent this at once. I believe compared to other countries, we manage things well here. I am confident that the government will manage it this time around as well.
The government does not release information now. We too would like to get over the election. However, we don't want to put the people's life at risk during this time. As usual, they have closed the stable door after the horse has bolted. They have risked the lives of the people to fulfill their hunger for power.
2020.
Attorney General informed the Supreme Court today that the committee appointed to probe the agreement signed between Sri Lanka and Singapore in 2018 is currently in the process of evaluating the agreement.
The petitions filed by 8 organizations, including the Government Medical Officers Association and the Maldiva Lanka Foundation, were called before a panel of judges comprising Priyantha Jayawardena and Yasantha Kodagoda. The Supreme Court directed the Attorney General to report to the court on the progress of the recommendations of the committee appointed by the President on the 3rd of November and set a date for the petitions to be called again on that day. The petitions were filed seeking the annulment of the implementation of the Singapore Free Trade Agreement between Sri Lanka and Singapore, as it has been to the government and the people of Sri Lanka.
Meanwhile, 2 people were injured following an accident that occurred in Talapitia in Galle.
The accident had occurred when a bus collided with a motorbike which was entering from a by-road in Talapitia, Galle. The rider and the passenger in the motorbike sustained severe injuries.
Business activities of Swarna Mahal Financial Services PLC and ETI Finance Limited has been suspended by the central bank with effect from today. This was confirmed to Newsfirst by a senior official of the central bank. From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on Election First. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Martin Satyanesan along with producer Senitha Sena Naika. Details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. Have yourself a wonderful afternoon.